Two poems. I don't know why I'm thinking of Haida Gwaii tonight. I've been away for about a month, I guess. I'm going home at the end of this month. But two poems. Al Purdy took a bus to the town where Herodotus was born. This is a poem about aging and memory, and my near-death experience with a vacuum cleaner on Haida Gwaii at Yakan Point. Al's wife, Urith, is mentioned, and of course I'm sure you all know who Al Purdy was, or is. I guess he is still, even though he's dead, right? Al is. Well-known Canadian poet who used to read with a toothpick in his mouth, so he couldn't understand a word. Also another neighbor of mine in North Saanich. The town we visited, Al says. Remember the town? We caught a bus there. Urith can't remember the name of the place either, but she recalls a wake-up call and a foreign voice saying, your cold breakfast is coming up. The last time I made Al a birthday cake, it fell, but Al was gracious enough to say, thank you for your largesse. There are vast areas of my, I got blank, ... that are missing. For instance, the name of the restaurant in Dublin where each dish was an approximation of its ideal, or the Christian names of my daughter's school bus drivers I said I'd never forget, Mrs. Blood, Mr. Wolfe, and Miss Hood. I wanted to write a young adult book about the late bus, the one the bad kids always took, but I didn't want my obituary ending up in the entertainment section of the newspaper where I once found a prognosis of Elizabeth Taylor's tumor. I don't want to be anybody's smile of the day, which is why I'm glad I didn't shoot myself cleaning Henry White's house on Haida Gwaii last summer. My death would have made the National Enquirer, along with wife used cheating hubby's toothbrush to clean the commode. In Henry White's house, I sucked up a .22 bullet, heard a bang, saw sparks, and the next thing I remember, I was seeing headlines. Woman shoots self in head with vacuum cleaner. The photograph of my sad brain looks like a honeydew melon soaked in V8 juice all night after being run over by a train. The last time I went pub hopping at Oxford and landed in a punk bar eating drugged cookies, which I worried about later when I started hallucinating because I was pregnant with Charlotte and didn't want her to be born in the corridor of British Rail while I peaked on peak-free digestive biscuits. Mary Oliver says, poems are ropes let down to the lost. I wish someone would keep that in mind when they ever find me. A critic in the Globe asks why poets are always losing things, especially people. Why can't they find something instead? And I believe he deserves an answer. The town where they lost your suitcase, Al says. Remember the town? We caught a bus there. Urith can't remember if her luggage showed up, but she does recall a wake-up call, a foreign voice saying, your hour has come, and the line going dead. You cherish people, then they are gone. What more can be said about the ones I'd rather be with, the ones I love best? I thank them for their largesse. Well, I'm glad I didn't die shooting literally, I did suck up a .22 bullet. I picked up a whole bunch. I thought I got them all, and there was this huge explosion. Somebody did say to me, the bullet specialist, you could have killed yourself, you know, I guess if it had... I was determined to keep vacuuming because Henry had, there was a whole process, you have to get the generator going. It was an amazing thing just to vacuum out there, just further out than Angie does even. And so I did turn on the vacuum cleaner, but I did it to one side, thinking that this would not kill me. My logic doesn't... Well, I won't stand right behind the vacuum cleaner. And I knew that I didn't want to die that way because I thought about it afterwards, and it would have been some sort of small item next to the cure for balding on the back page. You know, life sucks, poets shoot self to death. They always seem to make terrible puns when you die in a funny way. I guess there were probably worse ways, to make people laugh about your death, I suppose. I'd rather have that. I read one the other day. No flowers, please. He would have wanted them to live. Are we getting awfully green here? They're already dead, right? They're picked. I like the one that says, what was it in the Vancouver Sun? No flowers, send alcohol instead. And this is finally my Canadian poem that also mentions the place that I love the most, where I've lived since the early 70s and back and forth, but now I'm kind of there half a year, which is Queen Charlotte's Haida Gwaii. And the poem was commissioned by the CBC, who for the millennium, and they needed some writers to fill in their sort of dead airspace around midnight, I guess. And so they said, please write something about being Canadian, which is one of my favorite topics. So the poem is called Rest Area, No Loitering, and Other Signs of the Times. That's one of my favorite signs. I love reading signs because they're just so wacky. Pick your rut carefully. You will be in it for the next 80 miles, warned a sign on a stretch of bad road near head-smashed-in Buffalo Jump, Alberta. I love my country because even though we have been called the Vichyssoise of nations, cold, half French, and difficult to stir, we are honestly everything we pretend to be. One nation of 80 ethnic groups who still base our fashion taste on what doesn't itch. If the United States is like the guy at the party who gives everyone cocaine and still can't get anybody to like him, north of the 49th parallel where all our Christmases are white, Canadians are the life of the party. God gave us memories so we could have roses in winter, they say in Manitoba, but on Vancouver Island we know the cold of a Canadian winter can kill even a memory. Gather ye rosebuds while ye may, was my old father's best advice. The average Canadian considers life too short to stuff a mushroom, thinks poutine is French cuisine, is too polite to take the last piece of Christmas cake from the plate, the last pierogi from the pot. This so annoys me when I cook dinner for my friends, and there's one little thing. No, you'll notice it next time when you become aware of it. There's always one, in any Canadian meal, there's one. If you cut it in half or three people will eat it. That's the trick, to not have any leftovers that are so annoying in the fridge. I guess we're just so polite, right? Sometimes I take, Patrick Lane will always take it too. If you have him for dinner, the average Canadian says, I'm sorry, 4.8 times a minute. We are a self-effacing nation, a well-mannered lot. Americans say no to drugs, Canadians say no thank you. We are not elitists, says our new, actually it's old Governor General, ask anyone who matters. Canadians are unarmed Americans with health care. Let's change it. My poems are dated. Oh my God. Oh, I'll have to update this one. The sign on the door of the